Get ready to uncover truths and reality of today's politics. Here's your host, Lori Mills.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Uncover California. I'm Lori Mills. So on today's show, there has been swatting going on in our communities. Conservative influencers have been targeted, and then the SWAT team shows up at their house at about 3 a.m, and somebody's going to get killed. So today we're going to get into that a little bit with Chad Caton, who's going to tell us what happened to him at his house. And understand, this is not just him. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Jack Posaic, Tim Pool. It's happening to conservative influencers everywhere, and it needs to stop. So we're going to shine some light on that. On our second guest is Ted Norblum. This is another run for the state assembly here in Ventura County, and he's decided to jump into the race again. This is a winnable seat, and we're going to see what Ted's plans are to change things in our county. Stay tuned. Who's ready to have some fun? You guys, you can now charter the Scarlet Belle paddle wheel riverboat. You guys, the boat holds 150 guests. If you're planning on getting married, you can host a wedding here. If you just want to have a good party, they'll do that too. The boat holds up to 150 guests with all-inclusive packages available. There also is a midweek group discount if you're interested. They have a fully stocked bar, full-service catering, and they'll help you with event planning and theme ideas. I can tell you we did a Trumptilla on this boat, and we're going to do it again. They also have another vessel that you can throw casino night parties on. There is nothing better than the Scarlet Belle in the Channel Islands Harbor. Use promo code CALI and get a great deal on your next event. So, about a year ago, I was helping out when General Flynn came to California and did the Flynn movie in Santa Barbara. It was a great event. I met a lot of veterans, Chad Caton being one of them, Thomas Murphy. There's just always veterans around General Flynn, and they love the general. Well, I heard recently that he and his family were swatted. So I want to bring him on to talk about the danger and what is happening to conservative influencers. Chad, welcome to Uncover California.
How are we doing, Lori? It's good to be here. It's been a crazy month, that's for sure.
Yeah, so you were swatted. I was a little bit concerned because I'm sitting here and I'm watching all these influencers being swatted, and you're former military.
Right.
This is a dangerous situation. Tell everybody what happened to you.
So it was, it all started that week with, I think Cat Turd was one of the first ones, and we're all friends, from Twitter and having done events for President Trump all over across the country. Cat Turd got swatted, then my buddy Gunther Engelman was swatted, and then Sean Farash was swatted. And I actually called him and I was like, hey guys, you guys good? This is ridiculous, and having been a former firefighter, I've been on actual SWAT runs, and been a part of somebody being swatted, usually for drugs or something important. But essentially, I talked to him and I went to my wife that Friday and I said, I don't know. These guys are all bigger accounts than me. But I don't think I would get swatted, but I think we need to talk about it. Again, as a firefighter and former Navy CB, I'm all about preparation. I want to be ready for whatever's coming at me. She gave me the usual, shut up, you're nuts. You don't put that on us, kind of, don't put that out in the universe. And I said, but do you know what to do? And she's like, I don't. And I told her, I said, if it happens, your job is to grab Diesel, our dog. Because what people don't realize is it's a lot easier to say, I'm sorry for shooting your dog than getting bit. So it happens more than not. We saw it with J6ers being swatted and taken in. When a dog comes running at the cop, what's he supposed to do, right? And my dog's job is to do just that. You're banging on my door at 3 o'clock in the morning. He's gonna have a problem with it. So I told her, grab Diesel, stick him in the master bathroom or master closet. Make sure the door's shut so Diesel doesn't get shot, because we ain't got kids. You shoot the Patriot pup, we're gonna have a problem. Legit, right. Probably won't get out of my house because that would be terrible for us. And I said I would go out and deal with the police as the swatting continues. So she's like, yeah, whatever. Move ahead, had a good weekend. Sunday night, went to bed. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, it sounded like somebody was taking a pickup truck and banging it in my front door. I mean, they were banging the heck out of my front door. No doorbell, just banging the hell out of it. And saying Horry County PD. I didn't hear him say Horry County PD because I actually have an alarm on my door. So the alarm's going off. The door's being banged. Diesel's losing his mind. I jump up out of bed, grab my firearm, getting ready to defend my home. And I kind of sat on the end of the bed for a second when I grabbed the gun. My wife, of course, jumped up out of bed and said, what in the, is going on? And I saw lights coming in all the windows. And I was kind of incoherent still at the time. I had the gun in my hand and I said, SWAT, SWAT, SWAT. And from there, my wife just went into action. She grabbed Diesel. She was trying to catch him because he's wanting to hurt somebody. Yeah, you woke me up. Now somebody needs to die. So she's trying to get a hold of Diesel in the bedroom. I put the gun down because I was very confident of the SWAT. And I put my sidearm down. And I got up off the bed and I went out right here behind me. You can see the green curtains. Those were open. And my bedroom is right back there behind me in that hallway. I came out of that hallway, and the minute I hit the end of the couch, laser and light came through the back door, and it just lit me up.
So they tagged you.
Huh?
You were tagged.
I was they got me. They saw me. If I would have had my gun in my right hand, I don't know what would have happened. Would he have shot me through my sliding glass door? Because he lit me up and was yelling at me through the sliding glass door. And right there, I started to get so very angry because I was seconds away from possibly being shot in the face. I mean, they were guys in AR standing right there behind that green curtain, yelling at me, lighting me up with the lights. There was lights coming from the front because we have a big picture window. There was lights coming from the sides here next to me. The whole place was getting lit up by flashlights and and the sort. And so I heard them say in the back, go to the front, because I'm standing there in my boxers, like hands up, and they're like, go to the front. So I go to the front. And I cracked the door open, and there's 3 or 4 officers there with ARs and flashlights pointed at me. And they're like, hey, folks, Horry County PD, like you're coming by to say howdy, And I said some expletives, and I was like, I'm in politics. Somebody is swatting me. This is happening all over the country. They're like, that's fine. Just put your hands up and keep walking out towards us. And then 2 of them kept asking, what's your name? What's your name? And I was like, Chad Caton, Caton, Chad Caton. And they got me out, and then they put me against my garage door and handcuffed me in my driveway. And they said, who else is in the house? And I said, I have a dog that my wife is putting away. She's putting him in a bathroom, and my wife is the only other person in the house. So I'm standing directly behind the officer that is using my garage as cover with his AR or M4. I'm not sure what it was. And I'm basically looking over his shoulder down the barrel. And you could hear him yelling from the back for my wife to go to the front because she had obviously got Diesel put away. And she next thing I know, I'm looking down the barrel of this cop, and he's shaking like a leaf. And anybody that is around firearms or does some range time trying to teach somebody, you don't want somebody shaking on a rifle. And I started getting really nervous, and you could tell he was very young. And I'm not taking anything away from this police officer, but mistakes happen, and it would have been at the cost of my family. And
Right.
so I watched my wife. She did the right thing. I told her, don't carry no phone. Just come out. She came out in her pajamas and put her hands out the door. Then she came out, and I'm watching this guy put his rifle on my wife's forehead. I'm looking right down the gun. And I just kept saying to him, please don't shoot my wife. Please don't shoot my wife. I'm literally behind his head saying, please don't shoot my wife. Please don't shoot my wife. And then he finally is like, I'm not going to shoot your dog. I'm not going to shoot your wife. Shut up. And I'm like, F you. You just pulled me out of my bed at 3:00 in the morning. And then it kind of got a little weird for a second. And I shut up, and my wife came out. The sergeant that was in charge, that had SWAT on his back, he actually said, we're going to clear the house. Is there anybody else? I said, the dog is to the right in the master bedroom or master bathroom. That's where Elizabeth said it was, blah, blah, blah. They said, fine. And then they lined up, just like you see on TV, put each other's hands on each other's shoulders, and they cleared my home. They did leave the bathroom alone where Diesel was, and then I went and got Diesel. Of course, Diesel came out in the yard and was like, what's going on, everybody? How you doing? And said hi to all the cops, and was happy as I'll get out. But then they said, well, we got a call that was you, saying they were you, saying that you were shot, you were in hiding, and there were multiple gunmen in your home.
So you come out in your underwear. Your wife's the only one in the house. She comes out in her pajamas. Obviously, you're not shot, yet they didn't lower the temperature.
Exactly. And here's the thing. I'm not going to make this about bashing cops, but what all of us that have been swatted, from Gunther to all of us, we're all in a chat room together, and we want protocol changed. Protocol, and you're talking to a firefighter. I will back the blue all day long. But if you came up and rang my doorbell, I might think that it's a neighbor. I'm also a medic, so I've had neighbors come and get me because their husband's having a heart attack or something along those lines. My neighborhood, it's 80 homes. They all know each other in a gated community. And or somebody's house is on fire or something. They didn't do that. They banged on the door like a common criminal was trying to kick in my door. And in South Carolina, we have a castle law. My protocol to protect me and my family is I have 2 magazines, one to empty in the door and the other one to back up whatever I just shot. So if I didn't know there was swatting happening, I would have came around that corner right behind me by that couch, and I would have emptied a magazine into the door thinking that somebody was coming to kill me and my family. They're trying to kick in my door. I'm not a drug dealer. I'm not somebody running guns. So there's no reason for the SWAT team to be kicking in my door. So I'm thinking somebody more nefarious. And being in politics and all the death threats we get, being on Trump's campaign, all the death threats I got, I'm in a heightened situation. But that was all right to you? And especially when the sergeant came up to me afterwards and said, this was the call we got. And when we realized, we came up, the whole house was dark. And when we banged on your door and we heard your dog, we figured it was something, it was fake. Because your dog would be barking already and the lights would have been on or something would have been going on in the house if there's 2 gunmen walking around with flashlights. And I said,
and the gunman would have shot your dog.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was my point. So the protocol of it, and locally, I'm a huge advocate for police and fire here in South Carolina. I'm going to my county council, and I've already talked to the chief, and I'm like, we're changing protocol. You have to do this. And this isn't about police safety, because what's the difference between ringing the doorbell and banging on my door? To me, a ringing the doorbell is somebody that's saying, hey, I've got a problem. I'm sorry to wake you, but I got to hit your doorbell. And when I come to the door with a gun, don't be in my backyard leveling a rifle at me like you're going to shoot me through my back door. I have a right to protect my home.
Yeah, and that's something I have to say for me as a firearm owner. I had one night I was at my house and there was like a spark, like my dog woke me up, and I've got 5 dogs. So good luck wrangling all of those 4 huskies and a Pomeranian. And the first thing I do is grab my firearm. It's just natural for me to do that. And it's scary because someone's going to get killed if they don't change protocol. I mean, I'm thinking about everybody I know of who's been swatted. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Jack Poso's parents, I believe, were swatted. Tim Pool was swatted. You were swatted. So many people. What is the commonality? Do you think that this is an organized group or just a bunch of whack jobs?
No, we know that it's all connected. And the reason we know it's connected because after you're swatted, we get subsequent pizzas delivered and constantly. I think the record's 118 pizzas ordered by Gunther Engelman, I think, in one day or something like that, to different places and people. And it's in the notes, it says, call me when you arrive, blah, 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 blah. And whoever's doing this is using it as a calling card. Like if you have a bomber and the bomb techs find the bomb after it explodes, they can see that what bomber, it's a signature, how he makes his bomb, right?
Right.
This water signature is to keep delivering pizzas to your home.
And what pizza places open at 2 in the morning?
Well, that's just it. So we were swatted at 3 a.m.
Right.
And then at 6 o'clock till 10 o'clock, pizza started showing up that day. So
the day before the swatting happened?
The day of. So I swatted at 3 a.m. Pizza started showing up at 6 p.m. And then that's what they do. They send pizzas. Now, I have contacted all of the pizza places around me and said, I'm not ordering anything from any of you. Put it in the computer, whatever you got to do. They did a good job of that. We shut it down. Plus, I live in a gated community. And at midnight, there's not a whole lot of people going through the gate in order to follow them in or whatever. So I'd get phone calls in the middle of the night from the gate for me to open the gate. That of course I didn't answer because I just turned my phone off. I'm not, because they're harassing the hell out of us. My website's gone now. I don't know if that was a hack situation. We've had some issues on our socials. Other people have been getting pizzas from us all over the country. We know that they're all connected. That's why when there's new swatters, we ask them a few questions. They have the proof that this is all coming from the same people. And, apparently taking a crap on a Tesla is more important. So,
yeah, well, crazy. Now, if there's a commonality, I mean, we know there's groups like Indivisible. They're very big here in California. I've had to file 2 police reports myself just for stalking. Do you know who this is? Are the police investigating? Because again, it puts everybody.
Laura, you know
at risk.
me well enough, and you know my friends. If I knew who this was, you would have already seen the video.
That's for sure.
Because if the cops ain't gonna handle it, I will. And what that looks like, I mean, I'll leave it up to the FBI. Watch, the FBI is probably going to arrest me now because I said that, and that's the way this is working. I have yet to speak to the FBI. This happened on St. Patrick's Day. I've yet to speak to the FBI. My local PD, I had to call my county councilman and be like, excuse me, what are we doing? And it's with cyber crimes. We're waiting for Google IP to get back to us or whatever. I've talked to other people that have been swatted. I've contacted a couple of their FBI agents, and we were actually told that they're waiting for permission to come talk to us.
From who?
Hell if I know. I'd love that same answer.
Yeah, I mean, we've got cash.
Because on January 6th, Lori, when I went there to cover it for my radio show, and before I even got back to South Carolina, I already had FBI calling me, telling me they wanted to meet with me. How the hell they get my number? All of this stuff. But when I'm swatted, an attempted murder was brought to me and my family at my doorstep. For what? Because I'm a conservative and I'll put up with these retarded BS? Is that why? Or the fact that I happen to know General Flynn and go out and support him, or that I'm out there supporting other conservatives that are trying to keep the MAGA movement alive? Is that why they want me dead? It's disgusting.
Well, we've seen them want people dead for even less than that. Let's just face it. We're facing people, they're mentally deranged. They truly are. They've been lied to for so long, they believe it is truth. And I had met you with General Flynn. That's how you and I were connected, follow you on X, we're friends on X. But when I heard that you were swatted, I was like, wow, that's concerning to me. and knowing your background, how dangerous that situation could have become.
Yeah.
I had to have you on to talk about it.
I
So,
will say that Gunther Engelman and Sean Farash saved my life.
really,
There's no way around it. There's not any. I don't look at it any other way. Gunther Engelman and Sean Farash saved my life, because if I didn't reach out to them, and I'll say Sean Beardvet, Sean Georges, those were three of my friends that were swatted, and I called them, and I kind of got an idea of what was going on. And because of that, I prepared me and my family, because I'm telling you, if I would have walked around that corner with that gun, I would not be here today. I believe that in everything, because that dude was fired up in the backyard. And if he would have saw me turn the corner with a firearm, and I couldn't hear because of the alarm. So if I wouldn't have been able to hear what he was yelling at me, would he shoot me?
more than likely, yes.
There you go.
Or if they didn't have their lights flashing and you've got people banging on your door, as you said, you could have shot through the door. You could have killed somebody, and then you'd be looking at criminal charges. So yeah, this is
Not in South Carolina. I promise you that.
Oh, okay. That's right.
Yeah,
well, I'm in California. Gosh.
South Carolina, I could have dropped every one of them out there through the door, and then when they watched the camera, they would have been like, "What is he supposed to do? This is a castle law." And when the cops come up there, that's why protocol needs to change. Because I'm not trying to shoot cops. I'm not trying to shoot anybody. But if you come up on my door as somebody that is acting in a way that puts me on the defense, then you're wrong. And I can say that, having worked with police and fire. And and I don't know how else they could have done it other. I told them, why didn't you just ring the doorbell? People that want to kill me probably aren't going to ring the doorbell at 3 o'clock in the morning, and put a squad car out front with your lights on. Like, who are you sneaking up on when you're banging on my door? Nobody.
Right.
If you're in here, they know you're here now. Put your lights on in the front yard.
Yeah, and if there's criminals in the home, what good is it going to do to just bang on the door?
Well, either way, you have to tell us that we're here. Because I said, why did you ring the doorbell? I asked the guy. I said, what did you just work out or something? That's why you banged on my door so hard? I mean, the video I sent you, that's actually from my neighbor. You can hear how loud they are banging on the door. And when they say, we said Horry County Police, my door alarm is going off because you were kicking my door or whatever you were doing. I can't hear anything. And I've got a dog losing his mind. But when I asked him, that was where he was covered. Oh, I said Horry County PD. So if we would have went into a shootout and I'd be dead on my living room, you could say, well, my body cam showed that I said Horry County Police, when I couldn't hear you because of my own situation that the police tell me to do in order to defend my home, have an alarm, have a lock, all this stuff. But then that's the reason I get shot. Protocol has to change. There has to be. Do you know that this is a misdemeanor in most states?
No, tell me about that.
We've looked it up. This is a misdemeanor in most states for swatting. This started in the gamer world, where these idiots that sit around and play Call of Duty and whatnot would start swatting each other. And it's been a misdemeanor. But the thing is, this is attempted murder by proxy.
Yes.
And it needs to be a felony. It needs to be a federal felony right off the rip. And it needs to go straight to the FBI, because we already know that there is not one state that has the technology to be able to go through the litany of VPNs and all of the things that they do to try to hide behind. The only ones that have it is Homeland Security and FBI. So how about we just stop with the BS, and in the minute somebody's swatted, it goes to FBI, and FBI gets to work on it. Because if that's the case right now, why over a month I have still not talked to the FBI, because I have Tom, Dick, and Harry down here in the South Carolina cybercrime team that has already told me that we can't go very far after this. Only the FBI can. Why are we waiting for it? So 4 more people can get swatted? Are we going to keep doing this until somebody gets shot in the face and the left wins? Because that's what they want. They want to shoot our dogs. They want to terrorize us, or they want to have one of us killed. How they can't get to Trump, so you might as well get to the people out there that are standing up for him. Well, they can kiss my ass.
So what would your recommendation be to people? This has never happened to me, Lord willing, it won't, but to us that, may have some influence. What do we need to do to protect ourselves And what do we need to protect our families and our pets? Because I got a lot of them. There's no way I'm wrangling 5 dogs.
Well, so the best thing to do, and we had to learn this by enough people doing it, is that you don't call your local police. Find the non-emergent line to your 911. If you just call the police or go down to the station, they're gonna be like, "Yeah, sure, crazy lady, no problem." And then if it doesn't get to 911, it doesn't get on their computer. Call non-emergent 911.
What is non-emergent 911? I don't even know what that is.
Lori, if you don't know what 911 is, then don't ever leave your house.
No, I know what
All right,
911 is.
Non-emergent
You said
means that
non-emergent.
don't call 911. It's another number, right?
Okay.
Stay with me here.
Okay.
California people killing me.
Freaking blondes, you know.
I know. We held our breath the whole time we went through California with General Flynn. We did.
We had fun. I liked meeting you.
We did. We had a great time. Great conservatives out there.
On there.
We learned real quick that California's worth saving. So, but non-emergent means that it's not an emergency. So they have a regular number you can call, and that's what you need to do. You need to call the non-emergent line. You need to say that and from what we understand, the FBI, Kash Patel, has put out a memorandum to all law enforcement everywhere that this is happening to conservatives, blah, 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 blah. I have not seen that. I don't know. I assume it happened. So call your non-emergent line, give them your address, and they'll put a note in next to your address saying that you are a conservative commentator, you are a podcaster, or you are a famous person in your area, whatever, and that swatting is happening and that you believe that you could be swatted at any time. So if the call comes in, the 911 people are supposed to be trained to the point where they ask more questions, right? They ask how many people live there. They're like, how many cars do you have? They can look up a lot of that stuff. And then they'll be able to make a determination, is from what I'm told, depending on the 911 system. But if I don't care if you go golfing with the sheriff every day. He's not going to do jack for you. Call a non-emergent 911. Say that you're worried about being swatted because you are a conservative podcaster or influencer, and I want to put a note next to my address, so if it does come in, that doesn't happen. Now, when it comes to 5 dogs, you need to go to the front door and you need to just open it enough saying, I have 5 dogs here, because if you open the door and the dogs run out, they're probably going to get shot. So you're just going to have to work around it. Because at the end of the day, what I've told everybody when they all want to Monday morning the police, they have one job. That job's to go home. And because of these pieces of crap that are trying to play games with people's lives, are not only putting me and my family in a bad way, but also those officers that are just out to protect and serve.
Well, absolutely. Because again, anybody could get shot in a situation like that, whether you're the victim at home or whether you are kind of a shaky police officer at the door. Somebody's going to get hurt. So, Chad, thanks so much for coming on. We are out of time. Tell everybody where they can find you, and we'll go from there.
Well, I'll be out in California a lot because I think there's some places to save. I just took the position.
My district, brother, my district. I'm now vice chair.
We'll be talking because I might bring you on, because I have just taken over as the national field director of the Conservative Caucus.
Okay,
and we are going to build an army across the country.
We ran the Steve Bannon precinct strategy in my district. We flipped 98% of our party to MAGA. I'm now the vice chair. We are near Malibu, the Palisades fire. This district is flippable, and we've got 2 congressional seats and 2 state assembly seats. Let's roll.
Well, I might bring you on as a state director for this Central Southern California, because I need somebody out there that can tell me what's going on, so we can bring the assets and resources of the Conservative Caucus, and we can go out there, because I need everybody to recognize something right now. Donald Trump is not going to save you. There is nobody to save you. Donald Trump is doing everything he can to expose them, but the establishment is currently circling the wagons, waiting him out for 2028. We're seeing it in the GOP across the country. We're watching the Lindsey Grahams, the John Cornyn's play their usual game so they can wait Trump out, and then whoever is president, they can go right back to business as usual, and that can prove that. And the proof is we own the House and the Senate. They have yet to codify one of Trump's EOs. And if everything's stopped at the border, how come they have not codified it for our future? That proves that they are waiting. That proves they don't want to do anything that Trump is doing and put it into law, because they have full intentions of going back to it in 2028. We have to get MAGA in there in this midterm and in 2028. And if we don't get off of our butt and get to work, we're gonna have a bad midterm, and we're probably gonna lose the republic, because we're sitting on our hands expecting the great white knight to save us, that is Donald Trump. That's not how our Constitution is set up. And you can see AOC and Fraggle Rock Bernie Sanders out there rocking everything from here to kingdom come. But the RNC, what have they done? Not a damn thing. So we're going to do it at the Conservative Caucus, and we're going to get out there and we're going to bring the fight to them. So I hope everybody can go to the theconservativecaucus.org. Go there, sign up, be a part of our army that we're building, and maybe we'll see Miss Lori out there in leadership in California. I've already been thinking about it, and
I'll build an event around you, Chad. You bring the
Done.
caucus here, and we will have an event, and we will sell it out, and we'll get some soldiers.
Well, I'll call you tomorrow, and we'll get your paperwork, or we'll get your stuff so we can get you some business cards. You can be the new director of California. How about that?
Oh, you know what? I've been a permanent volunteer for about 3 years now. What's
now we're gonna give you
your
some direction.
volunteer position?
And the boots on the ground don't have resources. We're going to bring our resources to every state, so on the national level, and then and support you guys in what you do, because the boots on the ground we're going to level the playing field with these entrenched establishment. The Democrats are hitting at 20% right now, Lori. They're not our enemy right now. Our enemy is the establishment that's trying to wait out Trump. And I'll fight anybody that wants to say otherwise. Bring them on to a debate. I'll do it.
I hear you. Tell everybody about your podcast as well, and tell them where they can follow you on X.
I've been fired from 4 networks. I don't have a podcast anymore. Ever since I joined the Trump campaign for the Veterans for Trump. I just haven't had the time. I've been when I say fired, it's always something stupid, but yeah, I might go back to it. I'm always fired up. And I always do the media, so I'm always down to do other shows. But I'm all about the mission, right? So I'm leaving for Illinois here tomorrow. I'm going back to Chicago 2 days after that, and then I'm going out to North Carolina. We're gonna get on the ground, and we're gonna get things done, and get people fired up about the midterms. We've got to win. We have to win, or we're all in trouble.
If we don't win the midterms, people need to understand it's going to be nothing but impeachment again. It's going to be a nightmare. We have to win. Victory's not an option. Chad, thanks so much for coming on. Keep in touch, brother, and we'll talk soon.
Will do. Thank you, Laura. I appreciate it.
All right, everybody, stay tuned. State Assembly candidate for the second time, Ted Norblum, will be coming on shortly.
Welcome to the MAGA Mall. We have the largest selection of the finest quality MAGA caps and Trump caps that are made. We have over 250 hats and 1,000 different products in 28 product categories. And you can buy any of our products by going to our website. It's at themagamall.com, and use promo code CALI. And remember, it's always a MAGA day at the MAGA Mall.
Welcome back, everybody. I am so happy to have a dear friend of mine here who's decided to jump into the fire for you again. Ted Norblum is going to be running for State Assembly District 42. Now, the difference this time, it's going to be an open seat. The evil Jackie Irwin is finally terming out. And, you know, this is the district where the Palisades fire happened. And it happened due to negligence of the state assembly putting things like the Coastal Commission in charge. So I'm excited that Ted's running again. You guys got to get on the Ted train. Ted, welcome to Uncover California.
Thanks, Lori. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's good to see you again, as always. So, I'm running again. It's exciting. Like you said, it's an open seat, but there are 2 Democrats that are running against me. One's, I hear, is a mean girl, Deborah Klein-Lopez. She's Jackie 2.0.
Really? Tell me more about her.
She is a city councilwoman from Agora Hills.
Okay.
But she's kind of voted for that vanity project on the 101 freeway.
That eyesore that slows
that
traffic
cost us
down
tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah,
yes.
the last election, I wanted you so badly to put up Jackie Irwin's vanity project.
Yeah,
that's what I wanted to see.
Yeah, so here she's running. She's got the endorsement of Jackie and Julia Brownlee and Henry Stern. They're all endorsing her. And then there's a mayor of Westlake Village named Kelly Honig. And here she's more moderate. They say she's a nice person, but she's already got a $150,000 war chest.
Really?
Yeah. So
where's the money coming from?
I don't know. Don't know yet. Can't look at it yet. See.
When does the reporting happen?
I think it's June, the end of June, right?
Okay. Yeah, we need to see who's.
I don't know if it's her
backing
own money, but she announced it and she said she already had that money. So I don't know if she funded it, but I don't know. Maybe she did. So there's 2 Democrats running against me so far. No.
That's a good thing.
Yes, it's a good thing. They can split the vote. Like you said, I want to run again because it is an open seat, but I did really well in the last election. I mean, I got almost 124,000 votes.
Right. Presidential year.
Understood.
And everybody was Trump. But no, that is fabulous.
But a lot more people are coming out and voting. The younger kids are voting.
And that was before the fires.
That was before the fires. Since the fires, Palisades is a whole new thing. I'm keeping up to date what's going on down there, but it's not going to get built like they wanted to. Karen Bass is a total failure. The whole Gavin Newsom is a failure. The whole state of California, they're not helping us. But what they're doing now is they're going to increase our insurance, our homeowners and our insurance rates to be able to afford to pay for that now. So guess what? Californians, citizens, American taxpayers are going to be paying for this, and maybe some federal funding from Trump, which is not fair.
And it's my understanding in Palisades there have only been 4 permits.
Yep, 4 permits.
4 permits approved
out of 6,000. Out of 6,000, and a lot of people are elderly or older that have lived there since the 60s.
Right.
They're not coming back. So people 80 and over, they're moving down to Manhattan Beach, Orange County. They're not going to rebuild. There's going to be a big land grab. I'm sure at some point they're going to buy these lots. I was looking at some statistics about it. It says if your lot's I think it's like a quarter of an acre, it's worth like $3.2 million. Now the insurance company to rebuild your home, it'll end up costing you $1.5 million more out of your pocket to build the same house that you had before the fire.
Or more.
But people aren't going to be able to afford that. And also the septic tank situation. They got to replace all those septic tanks because they're from the 40s, 50s, and 60s. The ones on the beach, those are all concrete. They're all built. You got to replace those to bring them up to today's code. And they're talking about you'd have to build a huge seawall in order to dig them out to put the new ones in. And they're talking like $3 million per lot.
Well, and what I heard, and this is really interesting, some of those beach homes in Malibu, because they were built back in the 50s and 60s, they didn't have caissons or
into the ground.
They were balanced on boulders.
Yeah.
Which is amazing to me.
Now they stayed up that
long. So they're not going to allow that. And the Coastal Commission in itself.
We got to get rid of the Coastal Commission.
Yeah.
That's just a bunch
Tell
of
me
unappointed.
what you want to do in that area to help them out, Ted. I know when I ran for the state assembly, one of my big things was preventing fires.
Right.
Put some livestock back in the hills, do some controlled burns, take the power away from the Coastal Commission.
Yeah.
What are your ideas to stop fire danger and to help the people that are truly suffering in that area to get rid of some of these regulations so hopefully they can rebuild quicker?
Yeah.
Because I also know my friend lost her home in, the mountain fire in Camarillo.
Okay.
Her home, $3.2 million to rebuild.
Wow. Yeah.
To rebuild because of the cost of everything.
Sure. Yeah.
So what are your ideas?
Well, I believe that we used to have controlled burnings back here. We used to do brush clearing. We need to get back to that. There's a way to do it. I've actually heard of some places around the country where they have fire cannons. They'll put water pipelines with fire cannons so they can actually put out the fires on top of the hills. So, sorry about my hands. So there's a lot of different things. I mean, I could propose a lot of stuff. We need to build more reservoirs like we did the 2014 Prop 1 bill. We still haven't done anything with that. And we've torn down 4 dams in California since then that Gavin Newsom's made deals with Berkshire Energy up in Northern California to tear those dams down so that he can bring his own electricity and charge consumers what he wants. So we have just big issues with our legislature. As you know, for decades now, we've had a supermajority. It hasn't stopped. Nothing's going to change in California, folks, until you guys realize it's not working. This is a Marxist ideology in California. They don't care about you. They will take everything you have and you'll be left with nothing. Not only like saying you won't own nothing and be happy, you will have nothing.
Right.
We got to stop getting these people support. We got to get the younger generation. I think they're finally turning the corner. I see a lot more young conservatives in their 20s now than I've ever seen before, especially the last election. And I think they're going to come out in force. We have to make things affordable. The way things are going now, we're just kind of an elite and a poor. The middle class is going to be wiped out. That's what happens with Venezuela, Cuba. We are no different here in California.
Well, and understand it's planned.
Oh, yeah.
They want to control us. And people really need to recognize, even if we were to get the most incredible governor,
Yeah.
without the state assembly and Senate, it's like Trump being in office with Nancy Pelosi in charge again.
We're handcuffed.
The state Senate and the state assembly races, you guys don't just give to these big races. Give to your state assembly races. These are 1,600,000 races, and yet the people focus on the national races. These races to me are the most important.
Well, yeah. Well, we don't
races
even
in
have a
the
seat at the
state.
table right now. If you look at the Republicans, Bill Asaley and Carl DeMaio and 4 other Republicans and a Democrat just got kicked off committees.
Well, and Bill Asaley, Trump tagged him as U.S. attorney in L.A.
I kind of heard about that a little while back.
Yeah, no, he's out. He's the U.S. attorney
But they were
now.
kicking him off the committees because they're asking questions about financial responsibility and fiscally. What's going on? We've tripled our state budget in 12 years. Why? Nothing's gotten better. Our roads, our freeways, the one-on-ones like a braille menu. You bounce all over, pieces of concrete are missing. Our roads are falling apart. And if you look, you'll see Caltrans will be working there for 4 or 5 years to widen a road, 20 feet. I'm like, why is this taking so long? It's just a mismanagement of our funds, and we need some accountability, need some real transparency.
Right.
I know Jack Guerrero was saying, let's doge California. There's more waste in California than you could probably possibly imagine for all of us, and people would be furious when they find out where all that money's gone.
Well, and more money laundering. I also think the Chinese Communist Party has a lot of hold over the state.
Oh, of course they do.
They own one of the terminals. I think it's Terminal 5 in the Port of Long Beach, Port of Los Angeles. And we saw that Gavin Newsom was able to clean up San Francisco and get rid of all the drug-addicted homeless people off the streets.
Yeah,
for
having Chinese flags for Xi to come down and look like a parade for him, like it's all beautiful and sweet and all that good stuff. But no. And now look at San Francisco.
Right.
It's right back to where it was. It's
Yeah,
even worse
the Walking Dead came right back in as soon as it was over.
Well, I just saw that mall. I was looking at it today. There's only one store left, Bloomingdale's. It's the last one to close in that mall in San Francisco. It's empty.
Well, when we were up at the convention, I went to the Macy's because my purse broke.
Oh.
And they were closing their store in Sacramento. I mean, we're seeing, I think, everywhere in California, big business is leaving.
Oh, yeah.
What would you do to bring business back to California?
Well, the big one is incentivize them business-wise, but cut taxes.
Right.
We pay the highest taxes in the state. We're either the first or the last in everything. We're almost at the
Right.
bottom of education, but we pay the most per capita per student. I think it's like $21,000 per student. We have to pay the highest sales tax. We pay the highest property taxes. Everything.
Highest gas tax.
Gas taxes. Oh, if you look at the national average, we're like double the national average right now.
Yeah.
Everybody else's gas is going down. Ours just went up. I heard they raised it 65 cents, but I've seen it gone up like 10, 15 cents the last couple weeks. So
Yep.
it's almost like over $5 a gallon now. And
Yeah.
the rest of the country is like $1.79, $2.29. It's like, why? He chased out Chevron. Chevron's moving the refineries out of here. I saw some with Steve Hilton today. I was watching him. He was saying Kirk County refines 70% of our oil for California, but yet we're importing all our oil. So we're trying to cut emissions but we're creating more emissions to bring it over these big tankers from Saudi Arabia, the Middle East, to give us oil. It's just like our fruits and vegetables. We're importing from Mexico and Canada instead of growing it here. Everything would be so much cheaper. It's like, I don't understand why they do it. I was,
This pisses me off.
Oh.
I have to tell you. I go to the grocery store, and it's, we're getting closer to May. This is strawberry season. And Oxnard, California grows the best strawberries in the world. And I walk into my grocery store. Do you think I see any strawberries from Oxnard?
nope.
They're shipping them in. It's
Yeah.
like this whole food trade thing to me is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I want to eat food grown here at home.
Yeah, why not? It'd be so much less expensive, but I don't think they want, like you said, so there's an agenda.
I think they've been laundering money here for a very long time.
Well, of course they have.
A very long time.
Remember Shangri-La Corporation? They were supposed to build 7 shelters in
Yes.
California. State of California gave them $137 million. They gave $40 million back to the Democratic Party and then filed bankruptcy. Now that's just one company. Now think of thousands of companies that are doing that. Right now in the United States, I just saw this too, 70% of Americans are Democrats that are the wealthiest. 70%.
Yep.
It's a big Ponzi scheme. They give all these government contracts or give all these NGOs to everybody. They give back to the party. and then they keep themselves elected forever. So this is why we can never raise enough money. They can always beat us, $5 million to our 300,000.
Well, and that's funny that you say that because, again, if you guys look around the state, elected Democrat might have a event for their position. They don't campaign.
Yeah, never.
They don't campaign, and yet they somehow come up with millions of dollars to run these races.
Yeah. Yeah, Jackie, she didn't put a sign up. She didn't do anything. She did a bunch of mailers, some YouTube videos, and then she actually had so much money. She was actually giving money back to the California Democratic Party. And she's giving people, she gave Pilar money. She gave other assembly races money out of her own pocket. So she was actually funding other races. And then whatever she spent against me, I think it was 800,000 or whatever she did against me. But yeah, there was no campaigning. There's nothing. And they just have a war chest of unlimited funds. They get Planned Parenthood. We don't. They get the teachers' unions.
We don't want Planned Parenthood.
No, we don't. But they get money from them, and it's our money that we're funding. The federal government's funding, which Trump's not doing anymore.
That, yes.
No, and PBS and all the NPR, all of them. Why fund them? Don't fund the colleges. I'm glad Trump's doing what he's doing, but California, I hate to say it, Lord, it's the head of the snake. Every bad Marxist, communist, ideology, socialist comes out of California and it'll spread like cancer through the rest of the country. I want to fight. I'm still here to fight for it, just like you are. You've got your show. I'm running again.
And I'm vice chair of the Republican Party now.
Yes, you are. Vice chair of the Central Committee, and you're doing a great job. But we have to fight, and we got to educate people. So it's not just like campaigning. It's just educating people and go, look, you can't keep going for this and voting for this stuff. It's never going to end. And it's going to get so bad. And I don't want to see that. It'll be a revolt at some point, but I'm hoping people will just wise up and be a little more educated on issues and ask questions and figure it out. So I'm looking forward to debating my two opponents if they want to have a debate.
Oh, let's do it.
I invite you.
I will host a town hall right now, the Republican Party, and we'll even partner with you, Democrat Party.
Yeah.
Let's throw a debate.
Let's have a debate. Let's talk about the policies and see who's better on things and what you're going to do to represent California. I know I'm a fiscal conservative. I'm about, you can't spend more than you bring in. You can't spend more than you make. You have to fight for the people. You have to be honest. You have to be fair. And you have to care. You have to care about the people. Some of these people are in it for themselves. They just want to go from one election seat to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. It's not what it's designed for. I want to help the people. I want to dedicate my, till 12 years. I'll be, I think, 73 years old then. If I am, I'll be 61 this year. Yeah. So I'll dedicate that part of my life because I feel I want to give back to my community, give back to this country. I never thought in my lifetime I would see where we're at now and that it would ever get this bad. I just didn't think it could ever happen here, but it did. And now we got to fix it, and we got to fight for it.
Now, something we talked about before we were rolling was how the families are being divided because the kids can't stay in our state anymore due to cost.
It's a big underlying, this is part of the agenda too. You have to understand it's divide and conquer. Like I was telling you, like my grandparents lived here and then my grandparents' parents and then me. But now my sisters and my brothers, their kids, they're not living here. They have to move out of state because they can't afford to live here. Right. So now you're dividing the family unit up, and this is divide and conquer. You isolate people, and that's how you take them over individually. So I have my godsons now are living in Tennessee. They're moving to Idaho. And now my friends, my buddies are like, well, we think we want to move where our kids are at because we don't see our grandchildren. We don't get to be part of the family anymore. So they're dividing the family unit.
Tell them if they need a realtor to call me.
I definitely will. Yes. So I think that's also part of the agenda. You divide and conquer, and they're doing it with the family unit. They're isolating people from homes. They want people in little condos and little smart cities.
Which I think they're going to do in the Palisades.
They are going to do the Palisades.
And I think they're going to do that in Altadena too. It's going to be high-rise city, just like Laguna Niguel, which used to be beautiful rolling hills, and now they're skyscrapers.
The beachfront property will be condos and apartment buildings.
Disgusting.
You watch. It'll be apartments and condos. Some homes, but a lot of people won't be able to rebuild. It doesn't matter how much money they have. And until we get that fixed, but we need to fix the internal problems. I mean, we could go on for 5 hours of all the broken issues of California.
Tort issues.
Yeah.
And people that own businesses, if somebody trips on their sidewalk, they can be sued and lose everything. There's so many things.
Yeah. Utilities, we're 80% above the national average. If you notice, like our electric bill in the last 3 months, it went from mine was like $350 a month to like $600.
Okay. Yeah. This is amazing.
And the natural gas, it like quadrupled.
Yeah. And we used to be... Natural gas is cheap
really
when it's being produced, but Chevron's left the state now. Big business is leaving California. Yeah. It's unmanageable.
But we still have illegal immigration problems. We have the homeless problem. Where's that $24 billion? They're still not doing that. But I think Bill O'Saley's going to go after that, which is great because, I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's hundreds of billions. I bet there's trillions of dollars. Remember in COVID, I think Gavin Newsom gave $1 billion for masks that we never received them. So it's just this waste of money, and it's our money, and they're just taking and enriching themselves because they don't care about anybody else. They're in it for themselves. They're selfish people. They're wicked, evil individuals, and they need to be taken out. They just do. Vote them out. One way or another, we got to get them out.
Well, and our country wasn't founded for people to make lifelong careers out of these jobs.
Or become multi-billionaires from it.
You know, making a 6-figure salary and leaving office with $15 million.
Or 75 or 200.
You know, it's just not the way that it was designed.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's what's happening. In California, this is the best state in the world as far as the beauty and the resources, and it is just being stripped, except for those freaking chemtrails that we see all the time.
Yeah, Donna won't go outside. We see, I mean, it just turns everything gray and white
and it's hazy. It's not normal.
Yes, I think Sunday was actually, the sky was blue. There was none. I was like, this is what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah, and the other day, like 2 weeks ago, we actually had billowy clouds. I'm like, look, a real cloud.
Yeah,
it's a real one.
Yeah, we got to get rid of the geoengineering. Hopefully, Robert Kennedy can fix that problem nationally. I don't know who is doing it. Is it the government?
I have no idea.
Who's flying these planes?
There's
who's
people that send me tips all the time, but it's so tinfoil hat. Unless I've got actual proof.
Right.
You know, my son is a Marine, as you know, and he's like, nah, it's not that. But then I have heard that they seed cloud to try to create more rain.
Sure. But we're in the spring now. It's going to summer.
It's kind of like not natural.
Yeah.
All I know is when I was a kid and when I was young and you saw a plane go overhead, that trail disappeared and it doesn't anymore.
Condensation disappears.
Yes,
not the trails. That's chemicals.
I don't
it's
know.
Aluminum.
Well, what are they putting in the fuel? Or it's got to be in the fuel. It's got to be in something.
Yeah, that's aluminum and barium, I think it is. They've sprayed. So I know I've heard people do soil samples in their neighborhoods and their towns, and they're saying there's high levels of aluminum and stuff.
Maybe that's why we're getting sick all the time.
It is. It's part of it too. It just goes on and on.
Much.
And you think, oh, it can't be true. They wouldn't do that, but yeah, actually they can, and they have. And everything that we've seen that we thought, no, they wouldn't do that. It's come to fruition.
Yeah.
Every bad idea, what they're trying to do now, they're not even hiding anymore. They're so blatant about it. And just the fact that I hate the arrogance of them. I just really do. I can't stand it. And talk about the violence. They are the fascists. They're the ones that do violence.
Yes.
It's like,
let's talk about that really quick. You know as well as I do that we've got this fabulous group out here called Indivisible.
Heard of them, yeah.
And we're going to be going on offense on these guys. No more will we stay silent. These are the guys that stalk you. These are the guys that spread around the community that you're a Nazi racist.
Right.
And currently they've got this CARE Act in Ventura where they're trying to make it a super sanctuary state, and they want to transition children, and they want protection for that. And these people are sick.
Yeah.
These people are sick. Were you attacked the last run by Indivisible at all?
No, I wasn't.
I mean, they came after me hard.
No, they didn't.
I had to file 2 police reports.
I didn't have any attacks. No, nothing.
They're the ones burning the Tesla dealerships.
Yeah.
You see anybody out there holding up the signs for Tesla, anti-Tesla, anti-Doge, that's Indivisible. Most of the leadership is paid by George Soros. And the rest of them, they just instill fear into your community. So you will fall in line.
Why isn't he kicked out of this country, George Soros? Why do we allow him to be here?
Well, what I'd like to see is why haven't they ever pulled him or Arabella people in front of Congress and questioned them and given a criminal referral?
Yeah, I know.
They supported BLM. All these people, and even with the USAID discoveries, knowing that our tax dollars paid for BLM.
Oh yeah.
People should be going to jail right now.
$90 million, and they just spent it all, and then they didn't even file taxes or something. They got in trouble for.
Yeah, Patrice Cullors.
Yeah.
She bought 3 mansions, didn't pay
taxes. One in
taxes.
Topanga, I think, right? What was one in Topanga?
Yeah, one was in Topanga.
And an all-white neighborhood, and she's like, oh, BLM, Black Lives Matter. She's living in a predominantly white neighborhood.
Well, and then they burned down black communities that are still burnt down to this day. They don't care about black lives. They don't care about any lives. Let's be real.
Yeah, so.
Let's be real.
But we have a lot of issues in California. There's obviously it's affordability right now. It is, I think the taxes and then the homeless, we got to fix that. I mean,
okay, so this is the thing, too. We are a sanctuary state.
Yes.
And I don't want to hear, oh, the poor migrants, who's going to pick the crops? You know what? If they want to pick crops, they can get a farm visa.
Right.
There are work visas where they can be here legally.
Right.
We can't just let people come and live off the land, live off of our taxpayer dollars. There was a little boy found, 13 years old in Oxnard.
Yep.
And there was an illegal alien that came into our country, and basically what he did is he put up a website for soccer, recruited a lot of little boys, raped several of them, and then ended up murdering one of them, and he threw his body in Oxnard. I don't want that in America. I don't want that in our state.
Exactly.
What would you do to fight against these sanctuary policies?
Oh, I definitely support Tom Holman and ICE. That's one way of getting it. I would just ignore their sanctuary policies right now. We are paying, I think we're $73 billion fiscally in the hole this year.
Right.
We spent like $24 billion on Medi-Cal for all the illegal immigrants. We simply can't afford it. We don't owe them a living. They're here
and they're
illegally.
saying Trump's getting rid of Medi-Cal. They have stolen from it.
They
for
stole it.
Decades.
Yes. So they've been taking it. We just simply can't afford it. And they just want more and more and more. They just keep taking. And It was like Obama. You just got to pay your fair share. Just pay a little bit more. Pay a little bit more. It's always a little bit more, and it never ends. It never ends. And we're at the point now, it's like, I'm tired of paying for people. I don't mind helping people. We're Christian people. We're generous. But to what point it gets taken advantage of where we're just working our tails off to support somebody that doesn't even care, doesn't even live here, is not even legally allowed to be here. And I'm tired of it. And I think most Californians are. And I think we're going to have a big shift come up next year.
Well, that's something interesting that you said right there, because we are the highest tax state in the country.
Yes.
We're just taxed to death. If we weren't taxed, we could give more charitably.
Yeah.
These charities would be supported by us, not become these NGOs that are criminal.
Yeah. We're the most charitable country in the world.
Right.
I mean, we help more than anybody. I mean, look at all the money that's been going out for, like you said, USAID. It's like billions and billions of dollars to all these corporations. And all these
gender mutilation surgeries for kids in Guatemala.
Sesame Street in Iran. It's like,
they paid $53 million to Eco Health Alliance to fund gain-of-function research at the Wuhan lab.
Yeah.
We paid for that and killed people.
Paying money for transgender and mice. It's like, what? Or they have lizards on treadmills or something crazy they're trying. I'm like, it's just such an abuse of power.
Yeah.
It's almost laughable. It's like so sad that they actually spend this money on all this crap that doesn't even matter. Let's focus on helping people, rehabilitate drug people. We got a huge fentanyl problem in this country. And I would be going after China hard. They're making it, they're manufacturing it, they send it to Mexico, they bring it across, and they're killing our children.
And they're buying our land around military installations.
I think we should take it all back. Any farmland they buy, we should just take it all back. I just eminent domain everything.
That's what I said.
Did you?
I totally put that on Twitter today, on X.
Oh,
I
I
was
did?
like, it was Rep. Paulina Luna posted, Chinese people shouldn't own our land. And I said, eminent domain, do your job.
Yeah.
Eminent domain, take it back. They'd have no problem taking my house if I lived by the freeway and they wanted to extend the freeway.
Yeah. Also, another thing I was thinking about too, I mean, this was years ago, but I just saw the HUD secretary saying that we have all this federal and state land. And I was actually thinking about this a long time ago. We could do homesteading again like we did in the 1800s.
Yes.
We could give a young person, I don't know what the acreage, it could be an eighth of an acre. You give them the land. They can get a loan for, let's say, $300,000 to build
The cost of building's so high right now till Trump
But even
gets
that loan,
lumber
though,
at
would
home.
be less than their rent they're paying now. So
100%.
If you get a loan at 6% at $300,000, your payment's $1,800 a month. After 5 years, you'd own the land if you can stay in that house, live and build on it. I think, why can't we do that to help younger people get a foothold in the American dream again? It's not that hard.
And
we've got a lot of land.
There's so much land.
There's tons
Let's
of
not
land.
kid ourselves. I mean,
And not out in the desert either, where there's no water.
no, I mean, you
there's
could build
plenty.
in the hills above Simi Valley.
Yeah.
Build a nice neighborhood up there.
You got a lot of land back off of Malibu Canyon, too.
Yes.
Way back in there.
And let's get rid of some of the brush and make it a little bit safer.
Yes.
There's so many places that we can build, though we do need the infrastructure. We do need the water. We do need the electrical. And as far as, them always blaming the utility companies for these fires, why don't we get those frickin' power lines underground?
Yeah, they should have been done years ago. I used to
Yeah.
do underground utilities, telephone, TV. But also, it's the water issue, too.
Yeah.
I just read something. The last 3 years, we've had the most snowpack ever.
Yeah, and
3
it
years.
just goes out to the ocean.
But Trump opened up the federal pipelines, but Newsom still has the state pipelines closed. They're still closed off.
He wants to be president. Imagine, we wouldn't have a country.
would be the worst thing in the world.
It would. People don't get it. What do you think about Bernie and AOC making their rounds? The oligarchy tour.
Really? What about Zuckerberg and Soros and all these
other
ones?
Let's face it, freaking, she went in as a bartender and she's probably worth millions now.
29.
29 million.
In 6 years.
Wow, that's amazing.
At $174,000 a year.
Wow, how's that happen?
Yeah.
And then you got Bernie. I think they're going to run as a ticket. I really do.
God, I hope so. Do you think
I think they will. Yeah, they're crazy.
There's a lot of Bernie supporters out there, but it's just, I don't think this country wants to go Marxist. I just don't believe it.
Well,
I know they think they're trying to sell socialism.
Yeah, we need to be loud. The lie can't stand in the light of truth. We have to get the truth out in any way, shape, or form possible.
It doesn't work, and we have to show them before it's too late. Because once they see it and they're under it, they're not going to be happy about it.
Well, you can't get out of it unless you shoot your way out, and they're going to take your guns.
Yeah, that's
Okay, Ted, we're out of time.
We are?
Yeah.
That went fast.
Totally went fast.
Holy cow.
We kicked butt. Half hour. Boom. So tell everybody what they can do to help you with this campaign. What do you need, first of all?
So first of all, obviously, folks, I know it's tough. I need funds. I need to raise money. If you can go to my website, it's the same as it was last time, just my name, tednorblum.com. You can donate there. If somebody can donate, if you can go in there and donate monthly, you can donate $20 a month. I have a $42 button for District 42, so they can donate.
You know what? That's what I say we do. Club 42, folks. Sign up to give $42 a month and become a part of Club 42. And look at me take advantage of his whole campaign right now.
Yeah.
And if you do so, when he does a really good fundraiser, he'll give you a discount.
There you go.
Boom.
Love to. Love it. But yeah, we need that, but also get the word out. I got 124,000 votes. I think I need like roughly the same amount. So I know it's an off year. But we have a governor race. I think we can get, if we get the same amount of people come out and vote and they don't sit on the sidelines, if we get it out, we win this seat. We flip this and we start. And here's another thing.
Actually, if we can get Ted in the primary over the 51% and then carry that into the general, it's over.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's over, folks.
Yep.
Do you want people to do meet and greets for you?
I would love to do meet and greets. I'll talk to anybody. I'll meet with anybody. Just call me. Go to my website.
Throw them a party, folks.
Yeah. I'll meet with 20 people, 30 people, 5,000 people. We can do it. I need to raise money. I need to get out there and educate and talk to people. So whatever I can do, somebody knows somebody who knows somebody that can help. You know what I mean? So I need bigger business people to step up. Last time, a lot of them didn't support me because they had relationships with Jackie.
Well, they're scared.
Yeah.
Like even when I ran, that was the one thing. Well, we want to give to you and we want to endorse you, but because of the super majority in Sacramento, if we do that, then we won't get our lobby bills through.
Well, yeah, but there's a way they can do it. They can donate to the Central Committee.
Ooh, yes, they can.
And they could be anonymous.
VenturaGOP.org is that website.
So they can donate there. And then if you guys have enough money, you can either pay for things for me, flyers, mailers, or you can donate to the campaign as well.
Yes.
Most people the max is $5,900, but I need more business people. I'm meeting with the Ventura Sheriffs next month. The fire department I'm meeting, which I didn't have meetings with last time
because they wouldn't.
But hopefully they're going to endorse me and they'll see, hey, let's go a different direction now with Ventura County. And we got a lot of good people here, and just got to believe in God and have faith. Don't give up. We're still fighting for California. There's so many of us, and you're not alone. And if you feel like you're alone, call us up and we'll help you. We'll be there for you. We'll support you.
And understand, guys, the Republican Party in Ventura County now. We flipped it 98%. We are MAGA. So we are having a ton of events right now. Actually, on Cinco de Mayo, we have Devin Archer, Hunter Biden's business partner, coming out to do a town hall. So we're raising funds. So when Ted runs and when everybody's running, we're going to be able to help them because the past committee didn't do anything for candidates. We're changing that. So sign up for our newsletter and just sign up for updates. Check the event page, VenturaGOP.org. And
come to our meetings. They're fun. We want to build our memberships. We want to get more people involved, more people to run for other seats. There's a lot of things that just any of us can do. We can run for a lot of different things, and we'll help you with the process. We'll help them.
Yes.
We'll get them going, and we'll keep Ventura, we'll keep the state, and it'll never go the way that it is now. And we won't let this happen again. And
nobody's coming to save you. We need you to walk these precincts. Walk your own neighborhood.
Yeah.
If everybody walks their own neighborhood, we can't lose.
And word of mouth. Tell everybody you know to vote. Get out and vote and then support us because we can do this. So we're going to do it.
Okay, social media, where can they find you?
Everything I'm on at info at Ted Norblum for like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. It's all at Ted Norblum.
Okay, guys. So, Ted for California. Woo, woo. Fight, fight, fight.
Thanks,
Anyways, guys, make sure you guys stay tuned for next week. We will be doing another show on conservatorship abuse. The show I did a couple weeks ago on this, I've never had so many emails, and I was actually threatened not to do this show. So you threatened me, I'm doing another one. So there you go. There was a video a long time ago that went viral of this black woman who was kidnapped by the police and thrown into conservatorship. And we have her son coming in. So it's going to be a really good episode, plus an organization that helps those of you that have been victims of conservatorship abuse. It's a tough one to get out. Anyways, we'll see you next week.
California.